Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and people who identify as otherwise, and welcome to the 6th round of the WTCC Championship here at SSRI. This time I remember to say SSRI, not SRHI as it were back in the days. It's been a while since we've been here. Oh well, at least here on the stream. We have always been around, but hey ho. 4 weeks since we raced last time. An interesting round where we got to see Chris's hill and other interesting stuff. Oliver Anderson, and maybe joining me later tonight in the booth will be Dominic Giese, or Dominique Giese, as I've been told to pronounce it. Behind the cameras, as always, are Grandpa Chris Hill, controlling what we can see on the track. We are a little bit unsure where we are actually racing tonight, since we have some information that says Slovakiaring and some information saying Autodrom Most. But this looks like Autodrom Most we have in the background, so I assume that we'll be racing in the Czech Republic for the second time this season. First time was quite an interesting race with some decent action, overtakes, collisions and everything else you would expect in a WTCC styled race. As we will probably have another round in maybe next week or in 2 weeks. We are not sure on that either, since Macau got postponed due to technical difficulties or something else. Maybe Chris just had to have a shit that evening, so he couldn't do broadcasting, so heyo. Anyways, we are at the... Now I just have to find the right track back on Google, because I have zero clue on where in the ass this track is or how it actually looks. As far as I can remember from slight memories of having seen a picture earlier in the week, it's basically just one straight and a shit ton of corners going up and down some undulating terrain for this mighty round. And before we get started, let's have a quick look at the championship standings. We'll just take the top 10 as always. In first position in the championship, Pascal Jean Pietri, leading the championship with a total of 258 points and 6 wins to his name. He can secure the championship in the first race tonight. If he wins the first race, it doesn't matter how it finishes up elsewhere in the field, he will have secured the championship, I think. Not heavy. Wait a second, I'll have to do some maths on that later. Anyways, in second position we have Stu Neal. He'll not be racing tonight, unfortunately, so he'll probably drop down a position or two in the championship standings after this evening's races, but we'll have to wait and see. 181 points to his name and a single win. In third position in the championship, Fabio Pietri. 154 points to his name, 0 wins. In fourth position, Mr. Simsport himself, the man, the myth, the legend, whatever you want to call him, the meme, some might say, on 143 points and a single win. The last driver to have a win in this championship. No one else besides those 3 drivers have won a race so far this season. Simon Trebek in fifth position at 135 points. Jake Kowalowski, or also known as that Polish guy, in 6th position with 108 points. Only 1 point ahead of Marcel Voss, or Marcel V at least, on 107. And Linson in 8th position with 99 points exactly, 1 point shy of breaking that 100 point barrier. In 9th position, Marcel Klee with 93, and in 10th position, Jake Wilson with 85. Other interesting drivers that we haven't mentioned so far on this list would be drivers like Nard Cox, Mike Abranosa, Alexander Delors, Dimitri Sheck, Dave Jr. and Derek Neal as drivers who might be interesting further on in this championship and maybe in this race tonight. We can't remember exactly who's racing tonight, who will be with us, who won't be with us. But yeah, I guess we'll see when we get to live pictures from the track. Always interesting. Which we can have now, I've just been told in my ear. And oh, here we go, qualifying have begun, following Alexander Delors around in the Hyundai. It says 9th position at the minute, but I don't think anyone have set a time yet. Remember, in this sim in RaceRoom, qualifying ends when the timer hits 0, then you won't get to finish the lap you are on. Qualifying will determine the grid for the first race tonight. In the second race we'll have reversed grids from the results of the first race. So it will be somewhat interesting to see how people get on tonight and where they qualify, as always. As I'm just trying to figure out something here quickly on the computer. so you will have to bear with me while I don't focus at all on the race as professional commentators do. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, we are back. Pascal Jean-Pierre, championship leader. Now we're following around. Always easy to see as he's racing that bright colored car. Always forget what it is, but I think it is a Seat Cupra, whatever they're called. At least some kind of hatchback, front engine, front wheel drive. As all the cars are here in the championship. Some people say it's a Cupra, and we saw some nice 10-star parked cars all the way around the track. Virtual cars, of course, no one's there at the minute since it's getting close to evening in the Czech Republic. And this would probably break local voice violation or sound violations. Pascal Jean-Pierre starts his first time lap now. Let's see what happens as maybe Dominic Guise have joined us now in this shit. It's getting a little bit crowded now. Hello,
I'm here.
Dominic.
Hello.
So, Dominic, where are we racing tonight?
Oh, let me have a look. I have no overview.
We are in the...
We are driving in the Czech Republic.
Yes. And it is not the Slovakiaring, I can tell you that much.
Okay, then I have no idea which track in
It
Czech
is
Republic
Autodrom Most. And I think you have to pronounce it like that, I'm not entirely sure. As Pascal Jean-Pierre now are about to finish the first sector on his first lap, obviously he goes purple through there, so I don't think anyone else have finished the first sector yet. Second sector on the way. Getting a somewhat of a look on the track. It's the first time for us commentators as well, getting to know this track. Around we go. Anyways, Pascal Jean-Pierre can secure the championship this evening. He already got 104 points lead in the championship. And there are a maximum of 140 points to race for this evening. So we have to outscore his competitors a little bit this evening to secure it. Actually, he don't. But, hey ho. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We will probably get you updated on the championship standings after this race and see if Pascal Jean-Pierre will become the first and most famous of all WTCC SSRI champion of the sim. Well, probably the world as we are. Yeah, well, can we call this a world championship? I think we can. We have we have multiple nationalities racing here, so he will become the first SSRI WTCC RaceRoom world champion if he can secure this championship win, as he is currently on pole position. 9/10 ahead of Jake Kowalowski, also known as that Polish guy. Simon Trebek, Delors, Deschank, and Brno are all getting times in now at the table. You can see that quite a big gap currently, but I think these cars don't do much practice before these races. They basically just jump in and drive these cars as fast as they can or dare to go. So it is sort of a cozy championship for those who are wondering and are interested in joining. You can find this on Sim Racing GP. SSRI Touring Car Championship. Simsport Racing International would be the page to the community to find. Also on Discord at Sim Racing International. As we are now on board with Jake Kowalowski, who goes purple in the first sector by, well, one of the smallest margins that I've seen in a long time. But maybe that will be enough to secure him, and something happened there to the timing of the second sector, but we'll have to see if that gets back up. So Dominic, who do you think will be the main competitor to Jean-Pierre this evening? Remember, Stu Neal is not racing this time around.
Oh, is he? Yeah, but I'm a big fan of Sam Spankerling. He is a world-class driver. In every category he's driving, he's a pretty fast guy. And we also see him win on the W2CC World Championship. But every other person here in this race could be better him. I think we have a good driver field here.
We sure do, as we now see Jake Wilson jumps up into second and Sim goes into third. The legend himself racing around in that mighty 69 machinery, a mythical number in the SSRI community. Normally raced by Anthony Terhorst and Aaron van Duren in the Endurance Championship?
Aaron van Duren.
the most drunk guys that I have ever seen drive a race car, and we're not
And that
talking about.
fast.
We're not talking about last time when one of their drivers mixed up the brake and the clutch pedal for some reason in the final 4 minutes of a 10-hour enduro, but that's why you don't drink and drive, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, as we get a lovely view of this sort of bus stop-ish chicane that leads into a hairpin, another lovely view of the same place, but from a different angle. We can see the virtual marshal standing there, being ready. There's definitely possibilities for some great corner cutting up there, if you're very sneaky, but I don't think these cars are meant to go off-road like that. Big sausage curve. Oh, right on the curb they go. All the way out, using all of the track available and a little bit more. Jake Kowalowski now jumps up into second, only 2/10 behind Sean Pietri. Sean Pietri might not be as dominant this time around as we have seen him all season. Maybe this is his weakness, a Czech track. One of the few tracks where he didn't take a double win this season was the other Czech track. Yes, I have to say Czech track a lot apparently. When we raced earlier at the Czech track of Brno.
So it seems he doesn't like Czech tracks.
No, definitely not. I seem to remember that it was Simsport winning race 2 around the other Czech track at Brno when we raced there, where Nart Cox gave up the position to his, well, they're technically not teammate in this championship, but a normal teammate in the Sprint Cup GT3 series that we are also running here at SSRI, though that is on Assetto Corsa Competizione we run that. Where we do see some of these names also compete. Some of them are placed differently on the grid since it's much different cars and they are actually practicing for that instead of just jumping in balls to the wall trying to drive these cars. Beastie cars to drive these masterful touring cars, front engine, front wheel drive. Really tricky to get right into the corners, but extremely fun to race when you get wheel to wheel action. Is when I have Dan Linsen coming up to what could be the penultimate corner. There's definitely a pit entry there, so I think this should be the last corner. It looks like it as he goes on to the start-finish straight. He looks to be improving by quite a decent amount at the minute, although he haven't set an actual lap time yet. 9th position
P9.
he jumps to. P9, 1 minute 21 to go, so this will be his qualifying time that he have just set. He will not have time to finish this lap he's on now. As we see, the times coming in now will be their final attempts. Delors jumping up the positions. Jake Kowalowski still holds on to that second position, as he is somewhere on the track. He's coming up to the bus stop section, I think, as he goes behind some wonderful, beautiful trees, some Czech trees at this Czech track. 50 seconds to go in qualifying. Jake Kowalowski behind the pit parking area. Garage, penultimate corner, final corner that was coming up to the line now. Will Jake Kowalowski improve and sneak away the pole position from Sean Pietri? No, he doesn't.
He was not actually on a lap.
He wasn't actually on a flying lap. He's just out there for the fun of it, tricking out all of us in the commentary booth. As it looks like the time have run out, as we here see the standing grid for the lineup for the first race. 11 drivers to qualify this time around. Pascal, Sean Pietri, as always. I almost sat there on pole position. Jake Kowalowski, that Polish guy, sneaks it into second. Jake Wilson far up on the grid this time around in third. Alexander Delors in fourth. Sim Spankelink in fifth. We have seen him having difficulties adapting these touring cars and getting them to drive the way he wants. Simon Tribeck in sixth. Fabio Gill in seventh. Marcel Klein in eighth. Dan Linsen 9th, Mike Abrinosa 10th, and Dimitri Schenk in the mediocre Opel finishes off the grid in 11th position. 1 minute till racing we go. Dominic, what are your thoughts on this mighty race we're about to see?
Yeah, it seems like I need to correct myself. I thought Sam Spankelink could battle John Pietri, but actually he's 8 tenths behind him. So maybe Kowalowski is the only one who can really challenge him, but he's also 4 tenths behind. So maybe it will be an easy win for him, but I hope not. But actually, if it is a easy win for him, we will actually see good racing in the midfield, I assume.
We sure hope so, and I will have to excuse myself earlier when doing the standings. Fabio Pietri, and on my sheet is actually Fabio Gil in these races, who sat in 3rd position in the championship. The only one who have just a slight realistic chance of catching up to Pascal Jean Pietri of the drivers racing tonight. Unfortunately, we don't have Stu Neal with us on the track.
Whoa, whoa! Oh God.
Oh God,
What's
what?
that?
What? Are we already racing?
Yeah.
God damn it. Whoa, I was looking at something else. We are racing, ladies and gentlemen. On the way in this race, something happened in the start of the race as Dan Linson surely looks slow at the minute. Definitely damage on that car. Definitely damage. Jean Pietri drives away with it so far. 1.4 seconds gap already. Looks to be just gapping the rest of the field off the start. Jake Wilson, Simon Tribeck, Delors, Gill, Clean behind them. Tim Spenkeling also dropping now down the field into 11th position and dead last of the drivers in this race. Not what we were expecting. Delors the only hope for the Dutch guys. Here Lion setting up the attack on Tribeck, or at least trying to. None of these drivers will know where to attack on this track or when to attack, being probably the first time these drivers even see this track. No one really knows much about it except it is a jet track. Coming around the corners now. Some sweeping S's, as you can see, only that one straight on this track, the start-finish straight. The rest of this track are basically just a series of turns and twists and corners that you want to get perfect every time around. Alexander Delors, 4th position. Hitting the braking points as you're supposed to, I would say. Not really sure about much around this track, as it looks like it's getting a little bit tighter behind, but he's also closing a little bit on Simon Tribeck. Simon Tribeck is the guy under threat for that 3rd podium spot after the first lap. First lap through, almost 2 seconds from Jean Pietri down to Jake Wilson. As we see here, is it Dimitri Schengen, someone in a Renault? That might be Dan Lenson. It is Dan Lenson. Dimitri Schengen 10th, trying to do something about it as we go around the 2 first corners here. Dimitri Schengen, the mediocre Opel, of course, one of the favorites in the shed because of that car. A car that a manufacturer we don't often see in motor racing, but here we have a touring car racing from Opel. Not the best of show from them so far this season, as Sim Spenkeling here runs around all alone in 11th position. He can't be happy with that start, as he's just struggling to keep the car coming around the track, but this will give him the pole position for the second race if he keeps 11th throughout this one. And that could open up for a chance for him to get his 2nd win of the season, and being the 2nd most winning driver in this season, as we now follow back to the big train here. Fabio Gil on the rear end of it, Delors directly ahead of him. Tribeck and Wilson also in this train. 3 seconds from Wilson up to Jean Pietri. Jean Pietri is just running away with it, but this train is just incredibly long, snaking the way through the track under the sign of Renault. Coming up now to what could be the penultimate corner, as the snake of cars comes through. All the cars go through. Slightly different lines from some of them, but basically the same all around, hitting the apexes as we now go on to the only straight on this track, coming into this somewhat hard braking zone, which probably will be the best place to make your move in this race. Around this track, Fabio Gil still looking at Alexander Delors' rear end as Sim Spenkeling jumps up to 10th position. Further down the fields, Fabio Gil closes the gap quite a lot, but nothing really happens there. Delors still holding on to that 4th position as Dick Kowalowski, that Polish guy, in 6th position, running right behind them. He'll be hoping for some battling further up the field so he can get into this as well. As Gil is, they're really clipping that curb. These cars, they don't really mind it that much, and we are used to seeing touring car drivers going on 2 wheels, as Dimitri Schenk have gone into the pit, and he have been speeding in the pits as well. Oh, someone went slow, someone went off. Slow driver, that's Alexander Delors. Alexander Delors goes slow. Oh, it's not a good day for the Dutch drivers so far. They are not enjoying this. This moves Fabio Gil up into 4th position. As we have Delors under attack now from Marcel Clean in another 69 machine. A lot of those around the track, though this 69 machine is an Alfa Romeo. Looks like on the pictures it is. I'm almost told in my ears, yelling from behind the cameras. And canvas, Alexander now trying to pull away the gap now. He did have the pace early in the race and he did out-qualify Marcel clean by some margin, so it is likely we'll see Delors now catching back up to the train directly ahead of him, where Jake Kowalowski have moved up and sort of joined it as the caboose of the train. Yes, train reference from those of you who know short trains.
Oh, Mike can get a good run onto the straight.
Ryan is looking for the outside line into turn 1, or at least he's forced to take it now. Coming up turn 1, he's late on the brakes, he is trying to make it too wide. Oh, not working cutback, no, not really possible in this kind of corner, but he does get a much better exit, much more speed. Are he making the move on the outside? Around the outside goes Marcel Clean on Alexander Delors. The Dutch people are crying all over the world. Oh, what a shame, all Dutch people are now 7th and further down. Only Mike Abranosa, the almost Dutch guy, breaking up that perfect 4 Dutch people in the back. Now I'm actually hoping that Mike Abranosa will catch up and overtake Alexander Delors, the yellow Honda that's lurking in the background of the pictures from time to time. Marcel Clean up into 6th position, also a good position for him. Looking at his season so far, not the highest finisher, but sometimes he have done some interesting stuff, and we have seen him quite a bit on the stream. It's just so clean watching this car coming through these turns. Oh, not so clean anymore, as Alexander Delors hits the rear end of Marcel Clean, and look at that now, Mike Abranosa is right up in the rear end of Alexander Delors. Can he really make all the Dutch people cry? Luckily, we don't have any Dutch people in the commentary booth right now, as there are a lot of Dutch drivers in this community as in general, and they are all probably cheering their favorite Dutch drivers in this race. Or at least some Dutch drivers, probably not their favorites, as they are not racing themselves. But here we go, Mike Abranosa and the Honda. It looks as though he was lifting off quite a bit through that last corner. That loses him a lot of speed coming onto the start-finish straight. He's not going to have the run here, as we're looking from the back of Alexander Delors' car onto the front of that mighty Honda of Mike Abranosa. Look at that Honda. Over the curbs they go, over the other curb they go, as Dan Linsen have caught up to the back of these guys now in the Renault. It actually looks like it's Dan Linsen putting Mike Abranosa under pressure now. It would make it look a little bit better for our friends from the Netherlands if we can make this move and get through, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Further up the field, Sean Pietri still leading the race with 3 seconds. As they're really getting closer and closer back down here. Mike Abranosa, can he keep on? Can he keep defending? Keeping on defending, as we have seen him earlier in the race. He's lifting off through the final corner, which I don't think that Dan Linsen is doing in that Renault. Linsen looks to have a lot of speed in that car at the minute. But will he figure out a place to make this move? I think this is the place where we saw the contact on the other lap. They're really nose to tail coming through here, bumper to bumper almost, as Mike Abranosa is using all of the track and a little bit of the grass as well. Some greenkeepers might not be happy about that kind of driving, as we now see Dan Linsen making a little bit of a look there on the outside. Still looking, trying to psych out Mike Abranosa in that bright yellow Honda, as we're coming into the ultimate corner now, I think. Or is this the final corner? This is the final corner. We can see how Mike Abranosa is lifting off there once again. But Dan Linsen seems to be a little bit surprised about it and lifted off as well. But he's really close now under the wing. He moves out, showing himself, but he doesn't seem to have the top end on the Honda from that Renault. As we're coming into the first corner, Mike Abranosa is showing all of us his line in there. He is trying to make the trail break and make the car as wide as possible, as he gets a bad exit now, and Dan Linsen moves up on the outside. We have seen the move down here before. Dan Linsen now, he's really up there now. Dan Linsen making the look. Dan Linsen, can he get later on the brakes as we go around the corner? He is late on the brake, makes the move up into P8. As Mike Abranosa's day got a slightly worse, they're down into P9 for Mike Abranosa, as Simsport is now right behind him. If he can make that Hyundai stick. Further up the field, we have Jake Kowalowski and Fabio Gil in close content. Close action on the track. This is the battle for 4th position we are following here. Jake Kowalowski in the bluish car. and Fabio Gil in the Hyundai in front, in the classic Hyundai N colors. As we're now coming into the halfway point of the race, Jake Kowalowski looking for the inside there. But it doesn't seem that he can keep it through, but he is making a little bit of pressure. Now coming into the final corner, 2 wide. Jake Kowalowski makes the move all over the curb, but who gets the better traction coming out of the corner? Jake Kowalowski side by side with Fabio Gil. Oh, there's difference in those cars in length and size and power and everything coming into the first corner. Who's the bravest under braking? Fabio Gil, slight advantage, and now we see him there. Jake Kowalowski getting the move done on Fabio Gil up into 4th position, or did he just defend it? I can't remember who was behind just a second ago. The action is so tense right now.
What a move.
Battle for the mighty 4th position. Fabio Gil got that. Oh, well, fell back into P5 now as Jake Kowalowski, the Polish driver in the Czech Republic on that Czech track, racing around in 4th position. One of our favorite drivers here in the shed. Great stuff to see, as Jake Wilson and Simon Tribbick also looks to be in a little bit of a close contest up for 2nd position. Oh, here we have them. Simon Tribbick right behind Jake Wilson. The 2 British drivers making the Union Jack proud in this race. I can hear Chris Hill screaming in the background, wanting these 2 drivers to work together and catch up to Sean Pietri to take a British win. Once again in this championship, we haven't seen a lot of them so far, but Simon Tribbick here, coming in, lurking in the background, just making himself wide, making himself seen in the rearview mirrors of that Peugeot of Jake Wilson. Penultimate corner, coming into the final corner now. This is where we see them get the run. A little bit of sideways action there for the Peugeot. Both cars on the curb, but who gets the better run? We have seen this multiple times so far this evening, that you need the run here, you need to tuck in, but it doesn't seem like Simon Tribbick have the speed, but he is moving out to show himself a little bit, or just to get some braking points. We'll have to wait and see. Coming in a little bit close under braking as always. Whoa, really bumper to bumper in the 2nd corner. Still Tribbick in 3rd position, Wilson in 2nd. Sean Pietri running away with it. If this stands, there will be quite some point difference, as Dominic Gies will now do a little bit of commentating while I do some maths.
Yeah, do your maths. It's it's nice that the cars are so drivable. You can have a close action board. Whoa, this was close once again. Like I said, these cars are so amazing for V2V racing. In Formula cars, you can't do this anymore because of the whole aerodynamics. But these cars have no aerodynamics. We have front wheel drive and only the rear wing, which is actually doing some downforce for us. And that's why we can drive so close to each other. And that's why we have such good action with these cars.
Just continue, you're doing fine, mate.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and Trevor goes for the move on the inside, but couldn't stick it in. Maybe he get a better exit now onto the straight. And yeah, good exit, but not actually enough to get in front of him. But maybe through the slipstream he can go to the inside. Yes, he's staying out, but not actually. Yeah, that was V2V action once again. Better exit for Tribbick now. Can he do the move now? Next corner is a left-hander. But not actually. He has not the straight line speed for that now. 6 minutes to go in this race. So not a lot of time anymore. So he needs to do this in for the next 3 laps or so to get 2nd place.
If this results hold with Fabio Gil in 5th position, then Sean Pietri will have to wait until the next race, or will the next event this evening, to call himself champion. Will he'll have to score some decent points. After this race, there'll be 105 points left to race for in total, and I think the gap would be no, then he would actually be champion. If these results hold, then Sean Pietri could become champion of the world after this event if he wins and Fabio Gil doesn't get a hurry on that car in P5 and get it quite a bit further up the field. Pascal Sean Pietri will become our first WTCC world champion here on SSRI, as we see Simon Trebek here right up the rear of Jake Wilson coming through the final corner now into the first corner again, but we still can. It just doesn't look like Simon Trebek have the top end in that car to make the move on the Peugeot. He's going to have to make it stick under braking or make a send somewhere or do something unexpected. As we now go out of the two first corners, that tricky chicane on board Simon Trebek from the hood. We see him racing, seeing what he can do with different lines, taking a little bit of a sneak, looking up, making sure that Wilson will see him in the rear mirror and start thinking a lot about defensive as he goes really close to hitting him there. Now he does have a chance going around the outside. That would be a quite optimistic move, but is he just trying to set something up, getting earlier on the throttle? Looks like he is trying to do so. Coming down the straight now, I think the next corner is the contact corner where we saw the incident early on in the race. No, it wasn't, but next one. Ooh, Jake Wilson, two wheels in the gravel. This means Simon Trebek does have the run now. On the inside of the corner, he is braking slightly later, but no, they have to leave each other the space. But now
we know we'll switch back. Not actually.
No, it's hard to make a switch back when there's a corner 5 meters later, but it did look like he was trying to, or just difference in lines there as they were coming in quite differently to each other. An ultimate corner right up the rear. We have seen if you gotta make the move and you have a slower car, you have to force yourself up on the inside of the other car before the final corner to get the car head into a different line. 3 minutes, 10 seconds remaining of this race right now. As nothing really interesting happened at that marker, but into the first corner again we go. Jake Wilson still racing around with Simon Trebek following him behind. We can see in the background Jake Kowalowski, and it looks like Fabio Gil is right up his bumper as well. There's a little bit of gap have formed there, but this view of the lurking Cupra behind Seat or whatever we decided on was earlier. It is a little bit frightening to see coming up this close around the outside again. Difference in lines as this time it looked like Wilson covered it off quite nicely.
Seems like they had a little bit of contact in the rear. Oh, Wilson.
It sure looked like it. But whether or not if they actually did, we will have to wait and see. Oh well, actually we won't, because we don't have fancy replays in this series. Because no one knows exactly how to do that in RaceRoom, unfortunately. Oh well, we'll have to figure out as we still go here. 2 minutes to go in the race. Trebek up right behind him now. As Pietri will have, what, like 2 more laps on the outside now, Simon Trebek. Can he make it move? He's really trying everything to get that P2 in this race. Here we go, start, finish straight. They'll have this 1 and 2 more down here, it looks like. As it will be when Sean Pietri finishes his final lap that the race will end. It will, then the other guys will get the chicken flag afterwards, obviously. It just doesn't stop where they're on track, although that would be quite interesting. Trebek still following around. It seems to be a difficult track to overtake this one. We haven't seen as much of that kind of action so far this round. But do remember that in the second race the grids are reversed, so Pietri will be in 11th position and Dimitri Schenk will be starting on pole if these results hold up. Which is surely going to be for an interesting one. We'll have to see some overtakes throughout the race. 1 minute to go in the race. You can count down in the YouTube chat if you want to, on the comment section. Comment down below. Hit the like button and subscribe and do whatever you want. Or just go have a shit. Remember to pause the race, obviously. You don't want to miss the end of this one. This Trebek is still right up in the ass of... Oh, in the rear of Jake Wilson. Now he is looking to make the move on the inside or outside into the next corner. Inside looks like Trebek does contact his mate. Both cars seem to get out of that one. Not the best of moves from Simon Trebek there, but he is really getting desperate now. He does want that P2 in this race.
Yeah, but it seems like Wilson closed the door mid-corner and crashed into Trebek.
Yeah, well, it sure looked like it, but this is touring car, so remember a little bit of argy-bargy rubbing is racing. As Simon Trebek once again gets very, very close to Jake Wilson now.
As the time is up, we are now on our last lap of the race, our first race.
We sure are. Final time into the first corner. Will we see the launch of the century? No, we don't, unfortunately. As we come around here, still following the battle for P2, as stuff is not really happening further down the field. As we now follow Pascal's Sean Pietri coming around here. This will be a mighty, mighty result for him. WTCC World Champion. Champion of the world. He'll take it at a Czech track. First race of the season at a Czech track. This was supposed to be the last race of the season on a Czech track, but now we have Macau next time round, where Pascal Sean Pietri will be defending his honor and trying to take the double crown of the touring cars, winning the championship and winning the Macau race. And well, obviously it will mean that he'll have to win both the Macau races to take that crown. As he comes around these swooping corners, it seems like he's just driving around for fun, cruise control on in that car, and that just seems to be way faster than the other guys when they are on full race mode. Only a few corners to go now. Something incredibly unfortunate would have to happen now to Pascal Sean Pietri, like a disconnect or an engine blowing up or servo crash, something. If anything would have to stop him from winning this race and taking the first championship ever at SSRI Touring Car WTCC RaceRoom. Pascal Sean Pietri winning the race, showboating over the line, WTCC champion of the world, SSRI. What else to say? Wow, what a season you've had so far. One more race for him this evening as we go here. Trebek couldn't make the overtake at all, so Jake Wilson finishes in second, Simon Trebek in third position, that Polish guy Jake Kowalowski in fourth position, Fabio Gil fifth, Marcel Klein sixth, Alexander Delors seventh, Sim Spinkeling eighth, Dan Linson in ninth position. Mike Brno have dropped all the way down to 10th position, so it doesn't look as bad for the Dutch drivers anymore. And Dimitri Schenk will finish the race in 11th, which means pole position for him in the next race. Looks like we have ghosting here on the parade lap, the in lap, cool down lap, call it whatever you want. As we are following the myth himself, Sim Spinkeling, driving around with the light clouds, but here we have him. Champion of WTCC SSRI, Pascal Sean Pietri. What else can you say but Pascal Sean Pietri? Wow. Good job, mate. Good job.
Congrats, mate. What a dominant season by you. When I think he won almost every race expected from two. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wow, I've never seen such dominant class by a sim driver.
No, he has been incredible this season. This would be his 7th win of the season out of 9 possible. Only Stu Neal and Sim Spinkeling have also taken wins in this championship. True dominance. If you want to see the other races, you can find them here on YouTube on the channel. As Sean Pietri wins the race and takes fastest lap. Not that surprising there. As all the Dutch flags looks like one I guess can flex on this flag sheet on this board. Thank you RaceRoom for not recognizing the Netherlands as a country. As here we have a small break before the second race, where we can just relax a little bit and have maybe Dominic Guis tell us a joke.
I don't know any joke on English.
Oh yeah, you're right, you're German.
I'm not that funny. Maybe some joke on Danish?
Der var en dansker, en tysker og en svensker. Maybe this is the right time to speak Danish, as we have 3 viewers watching, and I don't think any of them are Danish. Well, actually, I'm one of the viewers, so yeah, there's a Danish viewer. I could do Danish jokes if you want to. But no. Seriousness, one more race to go this evening. Slightly longer than the first race. This one will be a 30-minute race, so that the guys starting in the back will have a chance to race their way through the field and get up to the front around this somewhat demanding track, and a little bit difficult to overtake on, it seems like. Interesting to see if any of the top guys can cut their way through the field and slice their way to the podium in this one. Never count out Pascal Jean-Pietri. Even from the back we have seen him win this season. On a few occasions actually. So we might see it again tonight. It would be a good way to celebrate the championship with yet another win. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. As the marshals are ready with their orange vests and a sign that I don't know what's saying. Marital. Probably some Czech stuff. The most driving is done at the most Autodrom. Obviously, only the most of driving is driven around here. As we are still waiting to see the cars line up on the grid. It seems to take an awful long time this evening. Well, maybe about 30 seconds until the grid is forming, and then we'll have to wait for the lights to go out, so bear with us, ladies and gentlemen, and people who identify otherwise, while we wait for these mighty drivers to maybe have a little bit of think through on how they're going to attack this, as we see them here lined up on the grid. The 5 red lights are on, and we are racing! Dimitri Shek actually starting from behind for some reason. Maybe because of the penalty. Micah Brno on pole position. Looks like Dan Linsen got the run of him. Sim Spenkelink in 3rd position. Could be the man to watch out for in this race. As Dan Linsen have gone into 1st, taking the lead by some... No, not some... But he is making a slight gap as Sim Spenkelink is trying the outside on Micah Brno. So Alexander Delort down in 5th position at the minute. Coming up here, Sim Spenkelink challenge now for 2nd position. He is making the move. Stick, it looks like Sim Spenkelink have moved up into 2nd, but can Micah Brno come back? No, Sim defends it well. No, Mike is still on the inside. They're still side by side. Corner of contact coming up, as it looks like Sim will drop into 4th position if he's not careful here. Side by side, Sim Spenkelink and Fabio Gil, both drivers are very fast, and we have seen them do good things in this championship so far. Currently P3 and 4 in the championship standings. Coming up here, Jean-Pietri already up into 7th position, have made short work of Jake Wilson, Jack Kowalowski and Marcel Klein. Sim is looking everywhere to try and get his way through. Mike Abrinosa trying to cut him up somewhere, slicing and dicing to figure out a way to get through. He needs to pick it up a little bit if you want to keep that legendary status that he have. We might have to remove that from him. Maybe the legend is truly dead now. We'll have to wait and see if he can pick it up. He also has some races left in the GT3 Championship, so maybe he'll do better there. As we're finishing off the first lap now, Sim Spenkelink now on the inside of Mike Abrinosa coming into the braking zone. This could be an overtake. He's already way past him. This should be a surely all done case as Fabio Gil
on the inside.
Fabio Gil sneaks his way up as well. Late braking there as... Whoa, Mike Abrinosa seems to be way off the pace there. Light contract with the Lord seemed like coming out of turn 2. Maybe that have compromised the Lord's race, as we see here the gaggle of cars. Delort, Tribeck. As Delort falls down now, Tribeck up into 5th position. As Jean-Pietri is still just taking a chill drop to 8th actually in this race as he goes to the inside now. What is Pietri doing? That looks like a deep dive. But somehow he made it work. Looks like up into 7th now for him. Delors in 5th position with Simon Trebek behind. Trebek will probably have to get a move in here. He needs to gap Sean Pietri behind him if he wants to get something out of this race and finish ahead, as it looks like Delors made the room as there's contact there. Contact, Sean Pietri is off. Sean Pietri is on onto the grass. He's dropping down now. 10th position now for him. Almost back of the pack. Whoa, that was unexpected for Pascal Sean Pietri. But now we'll have to see what he's made of. Can he fight his way back through the grid? Marcel Clean here trying the move on Jake Wilson. Not the greatest of starts for Clean, already dropped to 9th position. As we're finishing the 2nd lap of the race, Jake Kowalowski, that Polish guy, almost home field advantage for him. I think the closest he'll get this season. As we see here, a little bit of tight think. Marcel Clean looks to be trying the move now on Jake Wilson. Not something we see every day. He's on the inside but falls back into the slipstream as Pascal Sean Pietri follows in closely and gets up into the rear of this battle. Dimitri Schenk doesn't seem to have started the 2nd race, and that's why he's in 11th position. Seems to be in the pits. So 10 drivers circling around the track at the minute. Jake Wilson behind Jake Kowalowski, Marcel Clean behind him. Pascal Sean Pietri in 10th position as they're coming around the corners. We have some confirmation from Dimitri Schenk. False start and then game crash right before start of the reverse race. Not his day, not his day.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunate, mate. Unfortunate. We'd love to talk to you after the race to get a deep dive. Oh, what is going on with Simon Trebek? Two-wheel action there. We haven't seen that since Portimao in the first race of the season.
I think Simon wanna change to motocross or something like that.
He definitely needs some new underwear after that one. Whoa. Stunt driving we see here. But he is still right on it. Simon Trebek still right behind Alexander Delors trying to make the move. As he does seem to have the speed. Coming on the outside now, we can see that Mike Brno car up ahead of them. But it is hard to get a move done on slower drivers if you don't understand the way that the slower drivers are driving their lines. Not saying Delors is a slower driver at all. He's still way faster than me, especially in these cars. As we see Jake Wilson and Jake Kowalowski, the Jack and Jake into the first corner. Kowalowski making it a little bit defensive there. As we see, whoa, coming up clean, looking on the inside, outside, inside, trying to switch back. Crazy driving, but Jake Wilson makes the defensive move that maybe going onto the apex, parking the bus just a little bit there. That could have been dangerous. Sean Pietri still in 10th position, can't seem to get a move done in this race. As we now see Alexander Delors in that white question mark car. Oh, that's Simon Trebek in the white question mark car. Sorry about that. Alexander Delors trying a little bit here. What is he doing? Defending or attacking? Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe a little bit of nothing. We'll have to wait and see. We hope for a little bit of attacking, but also some, well, crazy amounts of attacking would be somewhat nice here to get some kind of crazy action, except for, well, if we get some more of that two-wheeling. Almost like watching some Hot Wheels stuff on YouTube. Trebek later on the brakes, as we can see some kind of flames or smoke coming out of the back of Delors' car when he's changing gears. Or maybe it's just a camera thing, could be. Trebek now with the overspeed, moving inside, outside. Whoa, that was close. On the outside now, on the inside of the small kink, that will become the outside for the next corner, I do believe. Yes, it does, but he is well past him. But can Trebek stick it on the outside? Doesn't look like it. Ah, Trebek, come on, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? But now he gets a better launch, better exit, much more speed. Simon Trebek now. Coming up alongside 2x2 NASCAR style formation. As Jake Kowalowski and Jake Wilson are also side by side. Trebek now sending it up the inside. Trebek is making the move. And so, Wilson, no, he's not. Oh, contact, there's a little bit of contact, only slight contact. Archie Barney rubbing his racing touring car stuff, or whatever they say in the UK with the WTCC. And well, in the rest of the world with the WTCC in real life, or TCR, whatever they call it in these days. Now, next target for Simon Trebek will be Mike Brno, as we now go a little bit further back in the field to Jake Kowalowski and this massive train. It's basically, well, it's more than half of the field in this train. Only 10 cars in this race, and what, like 6 of them are here? Quite in, or well, 7 of them I think are in this train formation. No one seems to be able to get a move done. There's always a car in the way when you try and launch someone. As we see someone going off onto the grass, so that's Jake Wilson that touches the gravel trap, but will Marcel Clean take advantage of that as he goes onto the inside? Looks like it. Marcel Clean makes the move and Pascal Jean-Pietri follows through. Yes, he does, but some contact was made. Unfortunate for Jake Wilson there. Jean-Pietri up into 9th position now. We should just race here every week with reverse grids from the start. No one seems to be going anywhere except for backwards. Simsport has also gone backwards now as Fabio Gil have gone up into 2nd position in this race. And they are actually somewhat close to Dan Linsen, who's leading the race. Here we have the 3 leaders. There are basically 2 trains in this race. This train for the podiums and then the big train for the rest of the field, basically. We haven't seen much to these guys, but they have been going close at it together all race as well. Simsport will try and get his position back to Fabio Gil, or will he just slot in behind and hope Fabio Gil can get up to Dan Linsen as Jean-Pietri now drops into 10th position once again. Simsport now inside outside as we always see. As Simon Trebek now making the move on Mike Brno. He's really trying everything, but what is that? What's that coming on the inside? Is that an Alexander Delors also getting involved in this now? It looks like it. There's no way that this can go on for 20 more minutes without a massive crash. No way that's going to happen with these drivers. Simon Trebek holds on and denies Delors the position. As Trebek, Delors and Jake Kowalowski all want to get through Mike Brno, the train driver, so badly. But no one seems to be able to move up a carriage in this race. As someone's way off in the background. There we had a Jake Wilson. Jake Wilson into the barrier he goes. Jake Wilson. Oh, that's so unfortunate for him. 10th position now. Which does mean that a few people move up a spot. Including Clean and Jean-Pietri. Maybe there have been some contact involved. Hard to say, but might have been. Jean-Pietri trying the outside on Clean, but he can't make it as nice and tidy as the German's last name suggests. With Linsen, Gil and Spinkling still up there. Simon Trebek have made the move on Brno. Brno seems to have gotten a terrible exit there. Some bump drafting is going on. Some teamwork there from Delors and Trebek. Trebek now coming in, but what will Brno do? Is he cutting off Delors, or what is happening here? Delors on the outside going the long way around, but looks like contact there with Delors and Jake Kowalowski, but nothing seems to have happened there. But looks like Brno have held up the rest of the field as Simon Trebek now is in clean air, but can he make up the 7 seconds to the top 3? We'll have to wait and see as we see a car dropping quite badly further down there. That's Delors. Delors have dropped way down this train. Now in 8th position, only Clean behind him in the train as Pascal Jean-Pietri is making some moves now. He's overtaking Jake Kowalowski, the Polish guy now. And now Pascal Jean-Pietri will be the next guy to attempt the move to get through the train driver himself, Mike Brno. As Jake Kowalowski seems to have some issues now. Delors is coming up now, coming in hot. Some argy-bargy contact there. Front to back wheels doesn't seem to be the biggest issue there. As Clean is coming and now pushing his way through, forcing his way up into 8th position. Not very nicely done there, some would say, unclean move. Ha ha ha. They all laughed in the background. Or tried to. Delors, 9th. Here we have Pascal Jean-Pietri now. He is getting the run on the exit, but that Honda does seem to have a lot of top end. It seems to be an issue overtaking if you don't get that bump from behind. As Trebek is scabbing these guys by quite a lot. Cut up half a second to the top guys. Here we have the top guys. Fabio Gil and Simsport seems to have been side by side into the first corner there. As Dan Linsen still leading these guys in that all black Renault. But does he have the upper leg on the 2 Hyundais behind? Maybe they'll do some team orders and take turns making a move or sending it or something. We'll have to wait and see. These guys, they all know that they're fighting for a win. It would be quite interesting to see if Dan Linsen could take this win and steal this, because Dan Linsen is only set at 8th position in the championship with 99 points to his race. It would be a huge game for him in the championship if he could get this win. Fabio Gil, the best placed driver in the championship, not to have a win to his name so far. Sim Spenkelink with one, of course, so far this season. In the second race when we were at a Czech track the last time around. At Brno, when we were there, yes, I had to change my voice as we see the beautiful 69 in the window here of Fabio Gil. I thought it was Sim who had that, but maybe they both run the same number. No, it's 69 and 96. Of course, it's 96 from Fabio Gil. A Hyundai thing with the two numbers, I assume, because it sort of looks like the Hyundai logo if you squeeze your eyes a little bit. If you're following my drift. You don't even have to be behind a brick wall in the dark to see that. These three guys going at hard, but look at the gap. Simon Trebek is actually catching up a little bit to these guys. He's definitely hoping for a lot of infighting between these three. Half of the race is not even over yet, so a lot of things could still happen. Trebek and Pietri could still make the move up and get into this battle for the win if they get a hurry on. As we have Sim Spenkelink around the two corners, he is getting very close. So oof, a little touch that seemed like, but he did push Fabio Gil there to get a better exit than Dan Linsen. But can he go anywhere with that extra speed, or does the Renault just out-drag him? Here we go. Looks like Fabio Gil have a chance here, but he backs out of it, although outside line there would probably have been a little bit back. But now he comes with the overspeed once again. But no, the apex of the corner was in the way for him there as they really swarm around that Renault as fighter planes dogfighting, trying to shoot down an enemy plane around the skies and around the track we go. Sim Spenkelink third position, Fabio Gil ahead of him. None of them seems to be able to get anything done to the Renault. The mighty black machinery, although I don't think we can say that color anymore because it will offend some people. So the mighty neutral or nondescript colored car seems to be a stealthy machinery that the planes can't shoot down or something. I'm not actually sure where I'm going with this drift. Here we go. It seems like the Hyundais now have the run. But no, there's just no way to go for them. Although this time Fabio Gil is sort of trying to get his nose in where it's supposed to be if you want to make the overtake. Does get a good exit there. A little bit of overspeed. It looks like Fabio Gil is not weaving around to get the slipstream. Just trying to push it for the top end. As he's trying to get a wheel up, but no, he have to go on the brakes. Sim Spenkelink closes in a little bit, but he will try maybe to get the outside here. Oh, well, Sim Spenkelink pushes him there. If he could have kept up the speed, he could have had the move on Dan Linsen. Sim Spenkelink seemed to have ruined it a little bit there, at least ruined the chance of the move. As Gil is slotting in behind, still racing interesting. We can see that they are all taking slightly different lines to just try and show themselves and get someone out of the way. Sim Spenkelink now on the inside of Fabio Gil. Could this be a change for second position? No, it doesn't look like it. He had to take so little speed, but now he is. Side by side, wheel to wheel action. Sim Spenkelink briefly into second position in the race. Looks like he's going to keep it there side by side coming in here. Yes, Sim Spenkelink keeps second position so far. And now it's Sim's turn to make the moves on Dan Linsen. Looks a lot better for the Dutch guys this time around, wouldn't you say, Dominic?
Yeah. Was a nice save.
As Fabio Gil is actually looking to be more interested in making the move on Sim than Sim is to close the gap to Dan Linsen. Maybe he just maybe Sim just doesn't have the speed around this track to keep up with Dan Linsen ahead. But look at that, Sean Pietri is now into fourth position, and he's closing the gap rapidly behind. Under 5 seconds now, Sean Pietri is coming. Hold on to your hats and glasses, ladies and gentlemen. We still have a good race on our hand with Sean Pietri, who could show why he has become champion already. Coming into the first corner this time around. Beautiful numbers in the windscreen of the cars. You can see Fabio Gil is trying to line the car up slightly different to the other guys, trying to get that exit speed. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. That might just be a preference of driving style or lines, as he's really trying to make himself seen in the rearview mirror of Sim Spenkling, as Sim is closing the gap slightly to Dan Lensen. He is definitely going to try something soon. Now on the outside, but he was trying to get the cutback cutting underneath. Now he'll have to pull out and see if he can get the overspeed. He doesn't have it looks like. But Dan Lensen is leaving a door open for Sim Spenkling. Never leave a door open for this guy. Give him a hand and he'll take an arm, but not this time around. Sim backs out of it. Could have forced it there, but chose to be a smart guy. Smart about it this time, but will he keep doing that as Fabio Gil is really looking to be pressuring Sim as well? It seems like when Sim is making a move and it doesn't work, then Fabio Gil is right over him immediately afterwards. Interesting to see that the two Hyundai drivers don't get along that well, and they both fight very hard to get up to that Renault. They don't want to have the fight just between the two of them. None of them wants that, it seems like. As Sim gets close to Renault, but not close enough, as Fabio Gil gets good speed at the middle of the corner, but he doesn't keep it that well on the outside. Slide over speed, it looks like, as they're really close. We can see Pietri in the background. Sim looks to be close enough now to have a dive.
Oh.
At least a little look onto Dan Lensen, but no, he doesn't. But Fabio Gil on the inside now. Ooh, Dan Lensen outbreaks himself. Sim Spenkling now on the outside for the lead of this race. It's gonna be a drag race for the lead this time around. 11 left to go. I'm watching freaking YouTube. What the hell is going on? Yes, something happened. I'll go back to YouTube to see what happened. Oh, that's what happened. Yes, Jesus Christ. Dan Lensen down in 4th now. Sim Spenkling leading the race. Ahead of Gil, ahead of Sean Pietri, and I'm back live now. Apparently. A lot of stuff have happened in this very pro shit. I said shit and not shit. Now I said shit. Shit. Anyways, Sean Pietri in 3rd position, 10 minutes to go. Can he make up the last 2 positions to take a double win once again? As Fabio Gil will be the next moving obstacle for him. He does seem to have the lines, he does seem to have the speed, but can he make the move now? It's a different class of drivers than the drivers you've been up against so far in this race. Not saying that any of them are slow by any means, of course. But now it's a real deal. Fabio Gil, Sim Spenkling, Simon Trebek all in the picture. They will be 1, 2 and 3 in the championship after this race, I do believe, with Pietri, the crowned champion. Just having so many things open on my computer at the minute. I'm not actually sure that they will both move past Stu Neil, honestly. After this race, we'll have to wait and see. In the standings, as the whole field seems to be coming into a close now. A lot of drivers in this train forming up behind Sim Spenkling. Sim Spenkling, Fabio Gil, Sean Pietri very closely together. Dan Lensen behind him. Simon Trebek and Jake Kowalowski is also getting closer to this battle for the win of this race. Gil, Pietri, Spenkling in the free cars. Ooh, Gil is coming very close there, but we have seen that before around these corners, that Gil does seem to be closing in a lot of meters in that, but that could just be difference in speed, of course, that we are now going a little bit slower than before, but now Gil does seem to be quite a bit faster. All the way onto the grass he goes, Fabio Gil. And really using everything that's given to him to try and make this move. Pietri on the outside of Gil. Pietri into 2nd position. Archie for the position. Pascal Sean Pietri up into P2. Ladies and gentlemen, Pascal Sean Pietri now only have one more guy to pass in this race to get into the lead and maybe get the double win once again. After that dreadful start he had, took a long time to get through the field. But it doesn't seem to matter for this guy. He just has so much more speed than the other guys currently, it seems like. Really adapting well to the cars and tracks. Not the greatest amount of time he had in the qualifying to P2 when we were back there like an hour ago. But yeah, Pascal Sean Pietri P2. Oh, he's so fast around here. It seems like you've really found the groove around the track. To be fair, he also did have an entire race before where he was running alone as Sim Spenkling gets a slide on, and now Pascal Sean Pietri makes the best out of it. Sets it up on the inside and takes the position away from Simsport. Pascal Jean-Pierre into the lead of race 2. But does Simsport have an answer for that? Seems to be forced to the outside here, but no, can't get into it. I'm afraid that Pascal Jean-Pierre now will just run away with it, as we have seen him have so much pace in that car. Simsport getting in closely. Will he try the crazy stint? No, he doesn't. Sim needs to stay very close around here. Penultimate corner, I feel like with that yellow line, it's sort of like the indicator of that. No, it's not. Under the Brno bridge we go. There was another yellow line on the track. Fabio Gil and Freddy have dropped a little bit behind from Simsport, it seems like. But now Sim needs to stay really close to Pietro if he wants to make this race a race. If he wants to race for it, as he goes wide, really pushing everything he can. As Fabio Gil now have the speed. Coming in here, slight flash that we saw, as touring car drivers do when they have it available. I wish we had novelty horns on these cars. That would be so much better racing with these touring car style drivers with the mindset of them. They would just be spamming that horn all the way around. We would hear nothing but horns. And that would be a sort of a horny situation. As we're coming around, it's forming the train once again. This time it's not Mike Abrinosa driving it. It seems to be, it's actually a little bit Sean Pietri, but Simsport. Oh, Fabio Gil got a bad exit there as Dan Linsen now moves his way back past Fabio Gil, as he have made a little bit of comeback after that earlier thing we saw. And Simon Trippick also right up the rear of these guys now. Now it's Trippick on the outside of Dan Linsen. Fabio Gil keeps the position. Ooh, a little bit of an archie-barchie there. Trippick on the outside. Simsport seems to be going very off the track there. What's going to happen out of this group of 4 now? Can Gil make the most out of Simsport being slow? Can Simon Trippick make the most out of Dan Linsen? Can Jake Kowalowski catch back up to these guys as he's right behind him? Simon Trippick now outside, looks like, but up here Simsport and Fabio Gil also on the outside. Ooh, contact in both of these battles. Hard to say where to keep your eyes. It looks like Fabio Gil will have this one. We have seen that inside line being the stronger one. Getting a good run, but also Simon Trippick with a massive run just behind them. And Jake Kowalowski also in there. We are going NASCAR now, 2x2 formation into the first corner we go. Who's going to come out on top? Looks like no position changes so far, but Jake Kowalowski is really up the rear of these cars now. I didn't say ass either. As we are going now, Simon Trippick in 5th position. Looking at Dan Linsen. He really wants to get past. We have seen him drive quite aggressively and try and get it done so far, but nothing happens. Or nothing happened in the last lap except for a decent move, decent attempt as Sean Pietri have driven away with it now. Jake Kowalowski making sure that we can see him by going on different lines in the back of this train. A lot of train driving today. I hope that you're not commuting to work, but because you're surely gonna be late being stuck in this traffic. Fabio Gil still 3rd position, but Simsport, we have seen him make a few mistakes, few uncharacteristic mistakes from Simsport today, I would say. Is he going to make another one? Can Fabio Gil then take full advantage of that? We'll have to wait and see. As Dan Linsen is also very close now to Fabio Gil. It's really hard in these train situations getting something done, getting the move up, especially around this track it seems like. As we now go penultimate corner, Dan Linsen on the outside of Fabio Gil. If he can keep that, he'll have the outside for the next one, but Gil forces his way through. Slight contact there now. Trippick will have to run on Dan Linsen. This time it looks like Simon Trippick could get it done on Dan Linsen, but did he just touch him? They're trying to get out of the tow. That's not what you want to do. Trippick's still not able to make this move. Neither is Gil on Simsport. They sort of like gone into kind of a stalemate now. With the British driver doing whatever he can, as Fabio Gil is still looking for that move on Simsport. Defining point for Fabio Gil in this race when Simsport got back through him. Oh, like through to take the position. He didn't actually go through him, but you know what I mean. You all watch motor races out there if you're watching this virtual race. Spinkling, Gill, Linsen, Trebek, all in this. Kowalowski with the outside chance if something happens that he could sneak in some positions. 2 minutes to go in the race, roughly. And this time I'm not looking at YouTube. 2 minutes to go in the race. This lap and one more it will be. Pietri is surely just thinking of how he's going to celebrate this mighty achievement tonight. Spinkling, Gill, Linsen, Trebek, Kowalowski. All of them here. In the same shot. We did see a 7-car train earlier in the race, but now we have this 5-car train with less than 2 minutes to go. 2 laps remaining in the race. Beautiful pictures coming around the track. A lot of cars in the same frame still in this race. Linsen is still looking up. That question mark on the side of his car is sort of how I feel. Why is no one making a move? Why can no one get through? Next year we'll be racing ovals only if this continues. And we'll see what touring car drivers will make of that. No NASCAR rules, of course, no overtime, no weird ass competitive cautions, no stage racing. Just old school stuff. Now they're really close, nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail, all the way through the train. But can anyone jump up a class? Get some better seats? Doesn't look like a Trebek, still very close to Dan Lenson. You need to stay close around here and then get the launch. That little contact could cost Trebek very much, as we now have Jake Kowalowski on the outside, though he didn't make anything out of it. As we also saw Gil trying something further up the field, as Linsen now gets a little bit of an attempt on Gil now if this continues. Kowalowski could also get something done there on Simon Trebek. Both on the outside. Doesn't seem to work that often. Whoa. Stuff could have happened. Dan Linsen still right up in the tail of Dan Linsen. Second flag is out now, it seems like. What? That's race over, it looks like.
Yeah, it is.
What's the final lap? Yes, very professional as always here. So these are your results of the second race of tonight's events. Pascal Sean Pietri double win and champion. Spinkling keeps the second position. Fabio Gil third. Dan Lenson takes fourth position. Simon Trebek rounds out the top 5 in 5th position, obviously. 6th position, that Polish guy, Jake Kowalowski. Marcel Klein, something, German guy, Marcel Klein.
Michael Klein.
Michael Klein. 7th position, Mike Abrinosa in 8th. Alexander Delors, 9th position. Jake Wilson in 10th. And Dmitry Schenk with the unfortunate disconnect and issues in 11th position with a DNF. Not surprising that Pietri got the fastest lap in this race either. So wow, what an interesting race we had this time around. Dominic, can you put a few words on this race?
It was action-packed all over the 30 minutes. It seems like the grid hasn't departed from beginning. They were so close to each other the whole race, and there was such a good battle. Where we have this 4-way battle fight with Spankling, Gil, Trebek, and what was the other guy? Lenson. And this was amazing. But also in the other race, in the first race, we had the amazing move from Kowalowski on Gil, which was wow. I've never seen such good racing, but these cars allowed this racing. Or the battle on the last 2, 3, 4 laps of the first race with Wilson against Truex. Wow, amazing! These guys know how to drive.
They sure do. They sure do. We have seen the touring cars being very amazing once again, and we did see the action on two wheels from, I think it was Simon Tribeck, being very kind to all of us, showing off the amazing acrobatics these cars can perform. But going into Macau next time around, I actually can't remember if we ended up doing it next week or the week after that, but it seems like we are going to go ahead and do the Macau race after all, the one that we dropped 2 weeks ago when we had some difficult issues. Some technical issues, yes. Words. I do words, I know some of them. Maybe.
But only some.
Yeah, only some. You know, we're not British, we're not English. Although we probably still know more English words than Chris Hill, who's yelling at me in the background. But yeah. Great to see. A lot of action. Two large trains forming in the second race. Seemed to be very hard to get the overtakes done. First, it was Mike Brno holding up literally half of the field. No one could get through him for basically half of the race. But then it started happening one by one. They got through, and he dropped down the field. And then again later in the race with Simsport holding up the field to get them all collected again, as we have Simsport waiting for an interview. Hello, Sim, and good evening. What an interesting race. The second one seemed to be hard to overtake out there.
Yeah, it was really difficult, and also I think my screens were just filled with other cars till the end, so yeah, that was definitely very eventful.
I must say you did have a large train forming behind you there in the last couple of minutes in the race. Were you scared at any point that Fabio Gil would make the overtake on you and take away your second position?
Oh yeah, I think in general I thought every single moment someone's gonna send it, but everyone was really keeping themselves consistent and fair. I mean, there was a little bit of paint rubbing, but that's normal with these cars. So yeah, a little bit anxious sometimes, especially since I had some mistakes. But other than that, there was really good racing, and the guys had me sweating for 30 minutes. And I just talked to Dan, and he felt exactly the same. It was like, oh my god, 30 minutes of defending, holy shit. Really good race.
Yeah, were you surprised to see that Sean Pietri came up and caught you by the end of the race? I have to say, with 15 minutes left in the race, he was like 8 seconds back from you guys in the front pack.
Yeah, so we sacrificed Mike and said, Mike, just keep the other guys behind. But he gave up in the end. No, I'm kidding. We indeed had a little bit of a little bit of a gap. Before people are like, you admins, everything, blah blah. But let's not go there. I think in general the pace of the guys in front was the same, but John Petter was just out of this league in terms of the pace that he could drive. I think the three of us could go a little bit faster if we wouldn't be fighting, but obviously, not at the rate that he was catching us. Indeed, I was looking at the delta at some point before he overtook Mike, and I saw like 5-6 seconds indeed, as you said, and then the next lap or lap after he was suddenly there. I was like, okay, what the fuck, where did he came from? And then the lap after, I locked up into the hairpin, and he could easily pass me there. But yeah, I don't think I would have been able to keep him behind anyway.
No. I've actually also just noticed this actually wasn't the penultimate round of the season. We still have Slovakiaring coming up later, and then Macau maybe?
Yeah, so Macau obviously failed to start when SGP didn't catch up with a RaceRoom update, and we'll see if the people want to do it as a last race. I hope they do. It's a fun track. It's going to be a lot of death, which is awesome to watch for you guys, I guess.
Yes.
So it looks like most people want to do it as the last race, so that makes 2 more races until the end of the season.
Yeah, we hope we'll get some special drivers coming in to do a one-off appearance at Macau, obviously, since it is such a mythical place with a lot of action. I've actually already crowned Pascal Jean Pietri as champion, though, that I didn't take into account that there are still races after this one. I thought this was the penultimate round.
Yeah, there's also a drop round, so perhaps you did right.
Maybe. Anyways, no one's going to catch him anyway, so I'll just declare him champion anyways.
Yeah, you could have done that after race 1, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no, very fair to him. Like, he's really fast. has mastered these DCR cars. So I guess we need to promote him to like real life racing in these cars. So he has more of a challenge, perhaps.
Oh,
We have to see for him.
well, Sam, between you and me and the two other viewers who are probably Dominic Giese and Chris Hill, do you think that Sean Pietri have been practicing as the only one?
No, not as the only one, actually. I think these guys drive TCRs in other leagues as well. Because they literally said, I see you on Sunday, so I assume that's to do another race and not to go to a ballet show or something. So I think they're driving more often in these cars, but still, yeah, this kind of pace that requires not just practice, it's also a lot of skill. So yeah, nothing to complain about. These guys just really fast.
Yeah, it's also a different driving experience to most other series that we do on the SSRI. Coming around with the touring cars, the front-wheel drive, front engines, smaller engines. Can you tell us a little bit about how difficult these cars are to drive?
It's, yeah, I wouldn't say it's difficult. I think for
Just
anyone
different.
who wants to drive, these are the cars to just get into. It's just way, way, way different. I mean, if you are used to like GT cars, you're like, okay, I want to power out of this corner, pull the throttle down, and you get rotation. But here it is, you put the throttle down and you go straight. So you really need to modulate your throttle when you come out of the corner and make sure that you don't floor it, because then you're just gonna veer right on, which doesn't work. But other than that, these cars are really a lot of fun. It's hard to spin, even though I managed in the first round. But yeah, if you just put your flute to the floor again once spinning, the car will usually just pull you straight again as long as you're on the asphalt. So yeah, very safe cars, very nice to get into. I would recommend it to everyone. Dominic?
Yes, oh, he's commentating.
Yeah.
We're just commentators. If you can't drive it, then commentate. That's basically the rules.
Fair enough, guys.
But definitely go recommend joining, especially for the Macau round, for everyone out there watching and who are going to watch this race in the future. Come join us for Macau, Slovakiaring, do whatever you want. But Macau, come join us. Well, join us for Slovakiaring as well. It's going to be good practice.
Yeah, do Slovakiaring first, get some practice in, and then at Macau you can win.
And I have noticed on the Slovakiaring there's a little bit of a hack you can use, and just there's a corner after the first sector. You can just, if you just don't take it, then you'll skip the entirety of the second sector, and then just use the track as a tri-oval.
Ooh, so if we get this part out of the live stream, then I can do that as the only one.
Yes, obviously depending on what layout we're using of the Slovakiaring, but I assume it's the layout that I'm looking at.
I don't know, we can just change it to the layout you're looking at.
Can we just change it to like a tri-oval layout of the track instead? I have always wanted to see that with touring cars.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, we'll just have crash rounds in the last two. And see what happens. Anyways, anything else you want to share with us, Sim?
No, just want to say thanks to yourself, Dominique and Chris for hosting this, of course. Definitely going to enjoy watching this back. So
you're not going to enjoy. You thank us now, but then when you watch the stream, you're going to think, them idiots. Why are they so unprofessional?
Yes, but that's what I love. So good job.
Well, then you're gonna love this one.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Up front, probably gonna laugh again.
I don't think it was that funny this time around, was it?
Ah, okay, then I'm gonna be disappointed.
Oliver. You were funny. Don't blame yourself.
Well, I did try and get Dominic to make a joke, but then he just said he was German and doesn't know any.
That makes sense.
Oh.
I think that's the funniest thing that happened in this race.
So, Dominic, were you allowed to commentate this race?
A little bit, yes. While Oliver needs to do some math, I kept the commentating going.
Alright, so you had the whole 10 minutes for Oliver to do some math?
I think it was 5 or 3 minutes, yes.
Your moment to shine. Glad you got that, man.
Maybe now I get a contract from another commentating team.
Yeah, I would definitely take that. No, I mean definitely not take that.
Oliver.
Yes, actually, while all the action was happening, I thought I was looking at the right stream, but then Chris, you're looking at YouTube, you idiot! Oh, fuck.
The race was going already.
Glad
man.
you commentated on the replays, Oliver. Well done.
Oh yes, and I missed the start of the first race, of course. I didn't know we had started.
No comment.
Oliver, our all-time best commentator.
Yes.
Oh. Anyways, well, I think it's time to finish off for the evening. Thank you for joining us in the booth, Sim. I am Oliver Anderson, and with me tonight was Dominic Giese commentating this wonderful race. Chris Hill behind the cameras. Have a good evening, everyone, and we'll see you again in 14 days.